Lionel, is that you?
There, I think I got it. Check.
Wonder if that would work on any of your neighbors, Lionel. Check. Wouldn't it be awesome to have a mute button for stuff like that?
Yeah, well, exactly. And we had that discussion about my neighbor too. Remember when I told you about the political party? Your neighbor was having her victory party for her being a council person. She had like 20 or 30 people there, and my secretary, lovely lady, been with me for 35 years. Barb, we don't necessarily need to tell the whole world what we're doing, but she starts telling everybody that I got a podcast. And then the guy who is the husband of the lady who ran for council, he started listening to it. Well, and he loved it, but he's not a model railroader. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, great. But then he tells Mount Baldy, my next door neighbor, and he comes up to me one day and he goes, so, how long you had this podcast? Like 8 years. Well, and what kind of mics are you using? Go away. All right. We're not going to let our guests into the studio yet.
Okay.
All right.
Because I have no idea who they are. They just showed up outside the studio.
Just wandered in off the road.
One of them's wearing a tank top. It's like, whatever. This isn't a Bruce Springsteen concert. It's a highly respected podcast. So tonight we're going to talk to John McGuire from Garden State Modelworks LLC. I don't know what LLC means. Maybe it means
limited liability company or corporation or something like that.
I thought it was like locomotives LC something, locomotives with loc sound that can't move.
Liquid locomotive control?
Yeah, liquid locomotive control.
I think the Anna Maria has a working group for LLC, don't they?
Oh, yeah, that's right. They do, don't they? Yeah. Maybe. I wonder what that's all about. Anyways, I don't even remember how now, but I was talking to somebody else, and they started talking about Garden State Modelworks, and I thought, hey, that's John McGuire. We haven't had him on the show for a while. So I sent John a message. I said, hey, John, you want to come back on the podcast? And he said, sure, but I refuse to come on unless my friend Scott Lupia can be on. And I went, well, okay, see ya. That's a no can do. But then we fought back and forth, and I said, all right, the only way we'll do this is if Scott Lupia wears a tank top.
That seems a reasonable request.
Yeah, exactly. So he can show off all his muscles. Because Garden State Modelworks has lots
of muscles, yeah.
Yeah, muscles. Yeah. Anyways, John McGuire does all this cool stuff, and I thought we ought to catch up again because when you scroll through his page, it's endlessly entertaining, and there's lots of cool locomotives and stuff to talk about. And then he suggested that his pal Scott Lupia, I don't remember what Scott, bring these guys in. You guys come into the studio now.
All right, are we in?
I can come in with my tank top.
Sure. Just don't take that. Just don't take that off.
Tank top on, underwear off. Did I say that out loud?
It was cool. Next thing you know, we're going to have somebody saying, hey, what's the temperature?
84.
Yeah.
Next you know, our sponsor will be saying, Lionel, can we have a chat about that?
Oh, yeah. Well, this is going to be on the free channel, I'm pretty sure. So I wonder if John ever works on Rapido trains.
Your fast track to model railroading fun.
If it's N, if it's H-O, the fast track is Rapido.
So, John, why is Scott here?
Well, it's me and Scott have been doing a lot of work together, side by side. Scott with his business, KV Models, He's an excellent modeler, and our stuff really complements each other. So we've been doing a lot of stuff close together within the last year since we spoke, Lionel. And I figured it'd be ever so appropriate to have him join me.
Okay. And Scott, you've been on the podcast before.
Yes, I have. And I don't know. I wake up every morning. The first thing I think to myself is, why am I here? So I'm kind of used to that question.
I'm not sure I follow along.
It's all right.
Why are
I
you?
don't follow along. It's goldfish memory. I'll forget I said that in about 10 seconds. So
Okay.
Said what?
Yeah, I said what? Yeah.
wait, what?
Wait, so why are you here?
Why am I here?
Well, did you say KV models or KB models?
KV, short for Kaiser Valley.
Okay. And what exactly is it? I know you've been on, but believe it or not, I know that there's at least a half a dozen people that listen to this podcast, and we've interviewed hundreds and hundreds of people. So you do details or something, right?
Yeah, etched model railroad detail parts, mostly HO scale stuff, but I have branched out to N scale and O scale. Recently, I started doing some 3D printed stuff, so I'm getting into signals now, doing some USNS N2 signal heads, mainly because that's what I need for my railroad. So that's generally how the stuff gets made. If I need it, it's a sure thing.
So what if somebody wants something that you don't need?
Well, I guess I have to do it then, because.
So what is your connection with John McGuire and Garden State Modelworks LLC? How come you're not LLC? I am.
I am an LLC. I just don't really say it.
Yeah. I think John's just trying to show off.
He's very proud of the LLC.
I'm very proud of the LLC.
It'll wear off.
What is it? Limited liability company or something?
Yeah, something like that.
And what does that mean? I'm Canadian because in Canada, my business is Strang Enterprises Limited. But what does LLC mean? What does limited liability mean? Mean you can just screw up and nobody can sue you or something?
Yeah, basically, you just walk around doing whatever you want, and you have diplomatic immunity.
Exactly. It's just about what limited stands for in Canada there.
Okay. Limited stands for I'm
limited.
I'm only going to do a limited amount of work. Which seems to have worked really very well for me for years and years. Do you guys hear that silence?
It's nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
Just sweet silence.
Is this something to do with a podcast? There should be more noise.
Yeah, anything. These guys aren't very They're not very talkative yet, and I'm like, what's going on?
Scott's not here to make background noise.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
I was just going to start flicking my microphone just to get
why don't you do that? Okay, so John, give us a little bit of background about what Garden State Modelworks is. I remember because you were way more interesting than Scott, but
absolutely.
So Garden State Modelworks LLC, we are a DCC and sound installation.
All right, time out. Do you say that every time, LLC?
No, I don't.
Anyway.
Just for the effect, I'm very proud of that, so I figured I'd add that in there for you.
It's like the NASCAR drivers kind of get all the sponsorships. Well, we're pretty proud of the Garden City LLC Chevy. We ran really good today,
Yeah. It's like the A on Modeler's Life. I thought for sure it would die a slow and miserable death, but yet it's stuck. A Modeler's Life it's stuck. I didn't think it would. I thought it would just morph into. Actually, that's your fault, Bruce.
I'm sorry.
Because
it's like a bug on a windshield.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you were hoping to be like a wart, dry up and fall off,
but you came up early in the early days with the AML Nation, and we won't necessarily talk about the first picture we saw that on. But but you came up with AML Nation, so then it stuck. It wouldn't go away. I should put LLC on there. All right. Anyways, back to Garden State Modelworks. So primarily you install decoders and lights and stuff, right?
That's correct. So my specialty is in auxiliary lighting, specifically with Loke sound decoders. So we're mostly known for adding step lights, ground lights, and all the stuff that does not come factory. from any of the other manufacturers as of today.
And why Loke sound decoders? Like why? How did you settle on that? Because my buddy George Bogatuk, he's a hockey buddy of mine. He's with Soundtracks. He's not going to be too happy.
I might be a little biased. I actually lived out by Brad for quite a while, and ESU's North American headquarters is right in Montoursville, Pennsylvania. And just from me knowing these people in passing, they got me hooked onto their decoders. And I have tried some Soundtrack stuff with the lighting work that I do, and I've only found the ESU counterpart to really hold up to what I'm up to. So,
explain some of the differences.
Realistically, with me, I like the flexibility of the Oak sound decoders. I'm able to program any sound file I want into any of their decoders. Another big thing for me is that the lighting outputs, there's more flexibility with that. There's more of them. So I'm able to do a lot of different things with one decoder rather than, 10, 15 years ago, which you would unfortunately still have to do with Soundtracks. You have to have a function decoder, and you actually have to have the sound decoder as well to achieve different things. And it's more of a compact footprint, and especially in HO scale and all the other models, you don't really have a lot of room to work with. So I've always kind of just sided with Loke Sound.
So it's just more, it seems way more versatile to you.
That's correct.
Okay, cool. And you said you used to live near Brad?
Yeah, so I actually went to the Pennsylvania College of Technology out in Williamsport, and Brad's not too far from there, as I learned just a little bit ago.
When we weren't talking about anything.
Yeah. that we're now talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're warming up for you.
Did you ever go to Oval, Pennsylvania?
No, I did not.
How about Crater, Pennsylvania?
Not there either.
Have you ever been on Schoolhouse Road?
I have not.
Oh, okay. That's why Brad
ever watched Schoolhouse Rock?
Yeah, exactly. That's why Brad became a high school teacher, because he lived on Schoolhouse Road. You didn't know that?
Yes.
Did you? Yeah.
I didn't either. I just found out about that too. But yes,
you got to pay attention to these things, Brad.
I know. I'm trying to keep up.
You ever thought amount of your importance and stature, educating the young, brilliant minds of tomorrow would be onto these things, but apparently not.
You would think so, but evidently that's not the case. Yeah.
And you use scalesoundsystems.com. Is that the fellow we interviewed like several years ago?
Can't really attest to that. That's actually JT Burke. He's out in Ohio.
That's the guy we interviewed several years ago.
Yeah, he's great. He makes the creme de la creme speakers that fit into any model, really, and that's the main reason why I use them. Is the quality's there, and he 3D prints them to fit in most of the models I've come across. So
he 3D prints them to fit.
Yeah, so the actual enclosure is 3D printed to fit in specific shells or specific chassis and stuff like that. So he'll even have different generations of the chassis. For example, an Atlas GP38 from 1999 is going to have a different chassis than one made this year. And he has a whole array of speakers that will fit in each model respectively. So that's why I choose to use his stuff.
Does everybody on the planet now have a 3D printer?
Seems just about like that.
Yeah. And then you go ahead.
Sorry.
No,
John, when you worked with the ESU guys there in Williamsport, was Frank Passer one of them?
Yeah. Frank Passero is a good buddy of mine. He's no longer with ESU, unfortunately.
No, he's not. But it turns out that John and I are both members of the same club, the Clinton Central, and Frank is a member there as well.
I was going to ask a question. I can't remember what it was. So how are you and Scott working together then?
Scott, you could definitely chime in with this as well. We essentially, Scott,
who's running this show?
Apparently not you anymore.
Yeah, I've been having a problem with McGuire ever since I asked him to be on the podcast. It was like, well, I want to get Scott on here, and I'm like, well, okay, but I was asking you, and now we're halfway through. We're halfway through the show, 14-minute mark. That's how long these guys are going to be on.
Yeah.
And he's already...
This is going to be a segment, right?
Yeah, this is a segment, buddy. Rapido Trains.
Your fast track to model railroading fun.
If it's N, if it's HO, the fast track is Rapido.
So, all right, Scott, apparently John wants you to speak now.
Okay, I'll speak. Let's see.
So the question is, why are you and John working together? What is it that you make, your etched brass parts? What is it that John might use of your stuff?
I don't know. I mean, I don't even really like him. I just try to get him to do free stuff for me. And, no, actually, I've been pretty impressed with John's skills. I sell a lot of etched parts, but I don't very often see people actually use them. So I think there's a great stockpile of my parts out there in the wild somewhere. But John actually uses them, and he is doing a lot of stuff with the open doors, the open windows, and he's really started using my parts to accent his line of work and what he does, where so he's not just doing sound and lighting installations, he's also doing now modifications to the engines and breathing life into them with things like open doors and windows and stuff like that. So that's something that I've really enjoyed seeing John kind of blossom with, because that's started that's fairly recent. One thing we did do that did get a lot of people did appreciate. We did a pair of Conrail U23Bs. They were at Springfield this past year, and he did an amazing job on the sound and lighting installation. I detailed the heck out of them, and everybody seemed to love the leaves stuck to the intakes, which that. Actually, there's a lot of pictures out there of them, but it was things like that. We started doing collaborations on projects like that. We've got a couple coming up in the future, which should be interesting. But yeah, we just work really well together.
So there was leaves stuck to the grills.
Yeah, the intakes. Typical GE in the fall, the intakes on the rear, above the rear trucks, you would always see leaves stuck to them. And every GE I ever saw had that. So I took a bunch of oak leaves from my front yard, crushed them all up, baked them, and stuck them on there in an appropriate way. And they did look kind of neat. It's funny. I introduced John into the it's actually a terrible way of doing business, but because you don't make money doing it this way. But I told them basically, don't do any model that you wouldn't mind keeping. And that's what we did. And we ended up keeping them, because we just couldn't sell them. So I don't think we'll ever end up selling anything, because we're just going to keep keeping the stuff. But yeah, they're in my house now. So I appreciate John's work.
They found a nice, comfortable home at Scott Lupia's.
So basically, your company is now limited sales and not just limited liability.
Yeah, we've got rid of the sales.
So run that one by me again. You said don't work on any locomotive that you don't want to keep.
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea behind it was...
So if somebody... So say a guy, I don't know, let's pick somebody out of the air. A guy named Dave, Uncle Dave.
Uncle Dave, there you go.
Say he brings in a couple of locomotives, but and you guys say, oh, we don't like those ones, take them away.
No, it's more of if you're going to choose to detail whether, work on a model for sale without it being like a contract type of job. Do something that you don't mind keeping. That way you're not tempted to just blow it out because you're just tired of seeing it sitting around. And unfortunately, I ended up keeping a lot of stuff because it's just too cool.
So who pays for it?
Oh, me eventually. So it's terrible business methodology, but
it really is.
But it's cool. The models are so cool. So. And
then if somebody brings in a model that you like, say Uncle Dave brings in some models, locomotives that you like. If you like them, you just keep them. Is that what you're saying?
We have to leave the country.
Yeah, he typically doesn't get them back. You could even ask him.
Stick a couple of leaves on them, and they're yours for keeps.
Yep. I think we kept a tally, Scott, throughout the show. And there's probably about 350, 400 people that are like, wow, the leaves, like that exact line, like just over and over. And I thought that was really fun.
You know what they needed? You know what they needed, Lionel?
What's that?
A guy with a leaf blower.
Yeah. I don't know. I understand why I say something and people latch onto it. Like, it was just the guy. He's annoying. I bought him an electric one. A real nice one.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, a real nice one.
Nice. So it's moderately less annoying now.
Yeah, it's still annoying but I'm standing there now. I stand on my lawn going, that's my leaf blower he's using.
There you go. Warm, happy feeling.
Well, yeah. So where would I find a picture of these? What were they?
Conrail U23Bs.
Yeah.
Do you have any Conrail C30-7As? Because that's what Dave wants.
I'm hoping to hear Rapido's going to be coming out with those soon.
Yeah, that's what Dave keeps telling everybody.
Hopefully.
Can we assume that Jason now knows what it's like to be pecked to death by a duck?
Yeah. So is there any photos on the oh, I see. Here's one here. I found it. There they are. The leaves are stuck to the side of the locomotive. So you guys are saying that you bought these locomotives to detail and to sell, and nobody wanted them, so you kept them for yourself?
That's correct.
Well, people wanted them, but I wanted them more.
That's solid. That's solid business right there.
I'm telling you, I'm killing it. I am. This is how you do it.
So,
it's the American dream.
One of these things we like to do in the podcast is delve deep into the secrets of the industry. So what's that conversation like? Hey, Scott, this guy wants to buy the Conrail 2735. And Scott goes, well, no, I don't want to sell it. Like, how do you guys handle that? It's partnership that is soon to dissolve.
Well, typically when we do models like that, like those were fully loaded with almost every option we can cram into them. So there's a price tag that comes with that. And typically those are price tags that if it's an engine that we would rather keep it than sell it, or we wouldn't mind keeping it. There's not really a whole lot of wiggle room with that price. So, we've had plenty of people come in, but just way too low for what we were looking for. So
people want to negotiate with you?
Yeah, but it was more lowballing than negotiating, Lionel.
So what? These locomotives are sitting on the did you have these on display at Springfield?
Yes, I did. I had a couple other engines there too.
All right, stop for a minute. Just hold on for a minute, Brad.
Yes, Lionel.
Actually, Brad, Kelly, and the mailboy. Can we have a little huddle?
Huddle,
certainly.
Yep.
Huddle up.
Is this some sort of a test? Like, is this like a bit that I'm like not buying into here or something?
I'm not sure. It's kind of like you watch these guys who do the car registration shows on TV, and he sinks a whole pile of money into it, and then he decides he wants to keep it because he likes it, and then the other guy's going, "No, we can't do that." But these guys are both on the same page, so I'm not sure what the hell's going on.
Okay, so I'll break. I'll go back and ask him.
Yeah.
Yep. So this Conrail 2735 is sitting on the table with a price tag of?
I don't know. What do we have on those, Scott?
I don't remember. It was like $400 or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was somewhat reasonable. It wasn't anything too crazy.
$400 doesn't seem outrageous.
Yeah, that's not bad at all for a nice HO locomotive. Geez.
There's something these guys aren't telling us, because then they're going, well, people come up. And so you're telling me that somebody, when they're sitting on the table at $400, somebody's coming up to you and saying, I'll give you $300 for it?
Yeah, you know what, Scott, I do remember this one guy came up. He's like, does that include the layout too? And I'm like, no. Like, no, it does not.
You guys sound angry.
I think I'm a pretty happy guy.
Am I angry?
Well, I don't know. I'm not. You guys are either heavily liquored up.
Which isn't a bad thing on this show sometimes.
No, really. or I'm heavily liquored up.
I think that's definitely what's going on.
Okay, because I'm not I
know I'm heavily liquored up.
There you go. Perfect. Because I'm imagining I've been to Springfield at least once. Haven't I been, Bruce, at least once?
I've seen there 3 or 4 times.
Okay. So I'm imagining these locomotives are on the table for $400. That seems like a reasonable price. They're weathered, they're detailed, blah, 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 blah. And you're telling me people are coming up trying to lowball you?
Yeah, I got an offer for about $200 each.
Oh my word!
Yeah.
Wow.
For a sound equipped and
correct
auxiliary lighting equipped HO scale locomotive.
And leaves.
And leaves. Yeah. You can't forget the leaves.
Wow.
And nobody wanted them for $400.
That's correct.
And how many people came up and made offers? I'm thinking it was one person, and now you're endlessly offended.
No, I think there was, I will be honest. I mean, me and Scott, we can both attest to this. I mean, there wasn't really a whole lot of people that were like gawking all over them, pulling their wallets out. But I had a couple other locomotives for sale there too, and those moved. But those two just stuck there for the whole show. Really, I mean,
Well,
there's probably maybe
that'll happen.
Yeah, but again, we were okay with keeping them.
So, how many people actually lowballed you? Because you're starting to sound like my sister.
I'd probably say 3 or 4 people because we had them up on the internet as well.
We're talking about Springfield. But that's all we're talking about because I'm trying to get this story straight. You guys sound like you're selling used cars.
It sounds like they haven't got their story straight, and then if we interrogated them separately, you get 2 separate
yeah,
stories.
Exactly.
Split them up and let's see what they really think.
Crack under the pressure.
Do we have like the they call them the sweat rooms that the police have? Do we have those here at the studio?
Yeah.
I was in partnership with my sister briefly, 10 years, many decades ago. And she was one of these. She ran another office when I realized I didn't want a company as big as I had, but she ran another office. And she was one of these people where she'd go, "Oh my God, we've been out of erasers. The kids steal the erasers. The kids are stealing erasers." And then when you do some investigation, like over the last 2 years, 3 erasers have gone missing. Something like that, and now I'm starting to think to myself, one guy came up, offered them $200, and now they've taken it personally, and their story is people are constantly lowballing them. I find that hard to believe that people are constantly lowballing you.
Are you saying that guy's living rent-free in their head?
There you go. Boom. Right on, man.
Okay.
And just so we're clear, Brad, there's not a whole lot of people I would take that comment from as well as I took it from you because you're 100% right.
Okay. That's good to know.
And I think, you know what? I think you helped me bust that pimple. Because once you said that, I went, yeah. He's got this enormous, he's like a cone head.
You're talking about the other guy now, not me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't think Brad's head was that big.
Yeah. Brad's only 4'8".
I know.
Wow, I grew since the last time we mentioned my height.
I think the last time I mentioned you were 5'2". Then you were 3 foot. Then you were 3 foot. Yeah. Am I in class now? Do I have to have the right answer?
No, not at all.
All right, there you go.
You got to get you got to get the pattern.
Accuracy is not that important to us here.
It seems to be to you. And the last time you said.
Oh no! I'm having the Mount Baldy voice added to me now. That can't be a good thing.
Brad's correcting me. Brad, are we married?
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Thank
Next
God.
thing you know, Brad's gonna be wondering what the temperature is.
Yeah, exactly.
Nope, don't care.
All right. So, what other locomotives have you guys built for to sell? So, is that a failed venture? Like you build models up with details and this and that to sell, and it's just they rarely sell? Or because I'm interested in this, because I think that would be an interesting thing. I'm always interested in the retail side of the model railroad industry, as Lauren James will attest.
So I wouldn't say it's necessarily a failed thing. So when it comes to these models that are really highly detailed and have all the bells and whistles, typically you don't see them for sale. There's not really a huge, market analysis that you can really do of something like that because they rarely come up. I mean, I know Scott's done a couple big Alcos, big MLWs, and CP recently within the last year or so. But we really just do it for fun. I mean, it's never really about the money. But if you really are looking at it from the retail side, then, we didn't sell them, but they're still cool models and we enjoy running.
I mean, it's, but in the instance of the U-23Bs, I mean, we just wanted something cool at the table that, sort of showed off what we both do. And yeah, they were for sale too. And I ended up keeping them. But I mean, yeah, I've done, like John mentioned, I did several Bowser CP big MLWs, and yeah, I have a lot of those in my cabinet now. But I actually sold these. I don't know where this fascination with CP rail came from, since I'm an EL guy. But yeah, they you just have to. I don't know, the process of doing these models. Whether you end up selling them or not, or keeping them, is sort of just as important as the finished product.
So basically, you put a price on, and if you don't get that, you can continue to use them as like display models then to try to attract
absolutely.
people. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I run the stuff on my layout. I mean, it's if I don't sell it, that's all the better. I enjoy photographing them and running them because it's top notch work.
Yeah, I'm just talking like when you go to shows and stuff, you still have those that you can put out to try to attract people to your stand. Is that what you're saying? Even if you don't sell them, they're still
absolutely
useful.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, not only are they useful to you in the hobby, but they can still serve a purpose for your business too, because you need something there to display in order to attract people over, I would assume, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And this sounds like, John, your business, Garden State Modelworks LLC, is basically a side hustle, right, from your full-time job?
That's correct.
So it sounds like these locomotives are a side hustle of the side hustle.
That's a very accurate statement, I'd say.
Okay, you might have one too many side hustles going there.
It's all about the fun, Lionel.
That's it.
Well, it doesn't sound like you're having fun. If some guy comes over and lowballs you, then you take it to your grave.
I wouldn't say I'm taking it to my grave. I mean,
well, wait till you listen to this podcast.
Great. I'm gonna love listening.
Oh, man.
I do got to say they do look really good in Scott's display case. So every time I go over there, I can at least say, see him in the display case. Remember that guy that lowballed us.
That's it.
Yeah.
Have you ever submitted pictures of these units to some of the hobby industry magazines?
So I actually personally have not. Uncle Dave, actually, he used a photo of my home layout actually for his new yard book that's coming up this fall.
Mm-hmm.
So that will be one that he inadvertently or indirectly submitted for me, I should say. But personally, I have not. No.
Yeah, because I can think there's an editor of one of the national magazines that we know, Otto Vondrack, might be interested in seeing some of your work in his magazine.
Railroad model craftsman.
I would absolutely love to do that.
Well, then write it up, buddy. Write it up.
Do an article. Do an article for him and send him an article.
Yeah,
that'd be a blast. I'd love to do it.
And then you could send the article over to Uncle Dave to have him give it the once over, and let's give you some pointers one way or the other, because he would like to do that. I know Uncle Dave would do that for you.
That would be great. Yeah, I should definitely look into that.
Everybody's thinking I'm speaking out of turn for Uncle Dave, but basically he doesn't make any decisions without my okay. Yeah, I mean, you got. I'm looking at your photos on your Facebook page, John, and I mean, there's just like tons and tons. Like how these 3 Rio Grande units. Mm-hmm. This is obviously a customer sent these to you.
Yeah, that was actually a recently new customer from Florida. Surprisingly, Rio Grande. He sent me those three units maybe a couple weeks ago. So
now, would you get Scott involved in doing these, working on these 3 Rio Grande? Like, I'm trying to decide, the work that you and Scott are doing together, is Scott getting involved in customer work that you receive, or is this just the two of you are working on locomotives that you refuse to sell to the general public and you keep them for yourselves?
So there's typically like a case-by-case basis with that. There are some times that a customer asks me to do something that I'm not comfortable doing, and that's why we'll reach out to Scott. I had a customer last year with a BN Overland F9, one of the executive ones they had, and he needed some really specific stuff done, and Scott did that for me. But typically run-of-the-mill stuff is usually all on my bench, and I take care of it. But again, it's really just a case-by-case basis.
You did recently, well, I will be receiving them a couple of N-scale engines since you refuse to do any work on N-scale. So I am taking them from you.
Yes, you are taking those from me. But that's totally going to be all your stuff there because, Brad, I don't do N-scale.
I've heard that, yes.
Will you do anything with T-Track? Aren't you proud of me, Brad? I got that in at the 36-minute mark.
Yes, thank you very much. Save me the trouble of having to do that tonight.
No, I can't say that.
But now that he's brought it up, you're going to have to explain again what the hell T-Track's all about.
What is that?
Yeah,
I just did that recently, and I don't think it's taking.
On a fireside chat. I think what it is I'm just going to refuse to understand it.
Okay.
Might be easier that way.
What is T-track? If you want to elaborate a little bit.
Let me take this one, Brad.
All right.
See how far I've come. T-track is a module that's specifically for N scale that has no standard size. There was a bunch of guys drinking in a garage one night, and they said, "Let's make modules, but let's not have standard sizes." Actually, they do have a standard size. They have a standard width. Like they're 12 inches and something, 12 and an eighth inch or 12 and 7/8 inches. I forget exactly what it is. But where it all goes awry is the depth. Even right on the T-track website specifications, the depth of these particular modules can be anywhere from 5 inches to 14 and 3/8 inches.
Wow.
They can actually be bigger than that since those standards were written too. So yeah,
I think I'm
21.
I'm speaking now, Brian.
Sorry about that.
So when did it get to 21 inches? Since the last time we talked?
I think it was that way before that. There aren't many that are 21, but there are people who build them 21 inches deep too.
Yeah, so it's this kind of weird mosaic of modules that they're very small, so people can build them. You don't need more than the size. All you need is a card table to be able to build your own T-track module. And then you go and you belong to other T-track clubs, and you all bring your modules together and you run trains. And really what it is a gateway to the hobby. There's this group called Iron City N Scale. Have you ever heard of them?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, just as well. But anyways, there's these guys, Iron City N Scale, and they started this group. And basically what it was, it's a gateway to the hobby. It's a bunch of guys. It's over 1,000 guys that they've all got together. They do meets and everything. And for a while, they were an extremely welcoming group. Like if you joined, you would get a welcome message from Patrick Moore. But then somewhere along the line, they just threw their hands up in the air, and you became a number. You're nothing more than a number to these guys. And there's no welcoming message anymore. But in reality, what they are is this group of over 1,000 guys that have T-track modules that will get together in Altoona, Pennsylvania, because there's a big N-scale show there, and they'll put all their modules together and make a giant layout. It's very similar to, what is it called? What's the HO? You know, there's an HO modular standard.
There's HO Fremo.
Fremo. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, it's very similar to Fremo, only not as organized. It's a bunch of modules. They're very cool, actually. But the best part about it is it's a gateway to the hobby. It introduces people to the hobby at a very affordable price. How about that, Brad? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. Well done.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you guys think you'll start doing T-track?
No, that does sound really cool. I do like how there's almost shouldn't say too loose of a requirement, but it does let people do what they want within certain boundaries, which is cool.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. Okay. So you don't like N scale because basically it's dying anyways, right?
I don't know. I don't really think so.
I thought it was already dead.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Have you ever listened to this podcast, John?
Oh, plenty. Actually, just today. I listened to your last Fireside Chat. It was great.
Oh, okay. Was that with Uncle Dave?
Yes, it was, about the C36 and the C30-7A.
Oh, yeah. I remember that one well.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else can we ask you? Help me along here, John.
I mean, realistically, since the last time we talked, I mean, there's been a lot of advancements with the lighting that I've been doing. Scott just recently developed a step light housing that he's printing out of resin now.
Who's making those awesome step light housings for you?
Yeah, it's that KV Models guy.
And not charging you anywhere near enough to cover the costs.
Ooh, sounds like you have a supplier spat.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm getting here. But recently, within like the last 2 weeks, Lionel, it's transformed the way I do my work, actually. It's a little bit more of a tedious process, but doing LED work in general is already going to take you a couple hours. And I've been using them on everything now. I just did a demo. I'm sure you can see on my Facebook there from last week. And it changes just the focus of the light it really makes it look like it's straight out of the wild, like straight out of a prototype picture. And I'm looking forward to doing a lot more at that and seeing what the future holds.
And what did you call them? They're light step ladders or something?
So they are step light housings. So before I was just CA gluing the LED to the bottom side of the step, and that would give you a similar effect. But these actually focus the light more in a prototypical pattern rather than just the LED kind of shooting the light everywhere. So it's a huge difference that I've noticed, and it's really, really cool.
And this is something that you're 3D printing, Scott?
Yeah. That's what I started doing since I branched out from the etch stuff a little bit. So yeah, that's one of the things I am supplying now to John
at a very discounted, apparently low ball price.
Yeah, after this episode hits, I'm gonna have to jack the prices up.
Yeah.
So, how did you decide, or how did you come up with this idea?
It was something I wanted to do for my models, and I'm currently working on a model, the 614, one of the Broadway Limited HO scale, Chesapeake and Ohio 614 steam engines, and I'm making it to the its current appearance. It's had a whole bunch of lighting added to it over the years, and I noticed above the cylinders there were these step light housings that they had added at some point. So for that engine, I needed it. So I just drew them up and had them printed, and then realized, well, you can actually use these for everything. So talking to John, next thing you know, they're all over his models and my models. So it was sort of an accidental type thing.
So they're not just for the steps; they're all over the model.
They would show up underneath the cabs for ground lights. A lot of EMD models have them, and some GEs and Alcos as well. But generally, you'd find them in the step well, or at the steps, and then below the cabs.
Oh, okay. So because you were building a specific model, you noticed these step light housings. So then you decided to 3D print them, or did you say you had them printed?
My friend Brian Busset, Eastern Seaboard Models, he's been doing my printing for me. I do the models. He's got a printer all set up. He's got it pretty much dialed in perfectly. So I figured, why not just ask him to do this stuff for me, and he does.
Okay, so you're not 3D print. You don't have a 3D printer. Somebody else is doing the 3D printing for you.
Yeah, currently. I'm going to have to do it just because the volume of what I'm doing is increasing so much. It's going to strain a friendship eventually, and I'd like to not do that.
Yeah, that's for sure. You guys are you're well on your way doing that. Where would you find that? Would you find that on your website now?
I'm not selling them. I'm just supplying them to John. It's a proprietary thing basically for John's models. Something that, sets him apart from everyone else. So that's, again, something that, I don't plan on really selling.
Oh, okay.
So it's a feature that John can offer and, get some more business in.
That's correct.
Yeah, correct. Sets him apart
from
the other guy.
That guy. Oh, that guy.
Everybody else.
Yeah, that guy.
The other guy. Yeah.
Are you okay, Kelly?
I'm fine. This is going to be good.
This is going to be what?
I said this is going to be good.
229.
Oh. Why don't you guys talk at the same time? Oh, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Hey, what? Yeah, I can't even get that.
Huh? What?
Okay, so John, this is interesting stuff. So what happens? Scott calls you up one day and says, "Hey, look, I have these side step LED housings. Like, how did this all come about? And why does Scott not want? Like, why do you, somehow you've managed to talk him into giving you the exclusive contract on these things?"
Well, for the line of work that I do, they just so happen to mesh perfectly for my business model. And unfortunately, I should say, I'm not really in the business of retail work. Personally, I don't really want to aim towards that. So I don't want to market these as, oh, you could buy 4 for, $5 or whatever. Just to keep things simple and to keep things more organized. We just both felt that it would be a better idea for me just to install them on the model. And that's where you can get them if you want them. You have to send me a model, and I'll throw them on there for you.
Brad, you're a learned man.
In some subjects, yes.
Yeah. This seems like basically their theme is, what can we not sell? Because now they're not selling the 3D step housings or the step housings. They've refused to sell those to the public, and they're mad because
I'm rethinking my whole business model here. I didn't know I had to come on a podcast to figure out what I've been doing this whole time.
It's been a learning experience.
Like, oh my God, let's build things not to sell. We could be millionaires.
We could literally make like dozens of dollars this way.
Okay, well, how much are you selling them to John for? Or don't tell me. Let me guess. You're giving them to him.
I'm not going to speak right now, and I may incriminate myself.
So
I plead the fifth on that one as well.
So do you charge people for anything? So okay, so you put the step light housings on the locomotive. Do you point that out to the person that gets the locomotive? Do you say, "Hey, look, you get step light housings," and the guy goes, "Oh, cool. How much are they?" And you go, "Well, I can't sell them to you." And then the guy goes,
It's actually an option that they can select. They can either tell them like, look, do you want me to continue the way I've been going for the last 2-3 years here with just the LED, or would you like to have the new and improved step light housings by KB Models?
Okay.
And it seems to be that everybody's loving to have those.
Absolutely, and so it's an option like getting a sunroof.
That's correct.
And I've never bought
advanced. It's like advanced owner technology.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I think we finally discovered what advanced owner technology is.
Heated seats of model railroading.
But usually, any car I've ever bought, when I say I want a sunroof, there's some sort of cost involved. So, is it an option if there's no cost involved?
There's a $5 upcharge for that. So instead of the $10 per LED, there's a $5 upcharge for that.
So instead of $10, it's $5.
I'm sorry, $15. So it's the $5 off the 10.
Say, boy, these guys are really in trouble. If you choose this option, which is far better than that,
it's going to cost you less.
It's going to cost you 50% less.
It's $15. Yeah, it's that $5 extra really covers the paint and assembling, and it takes a couple minutes to put them together and actually install them on the models. A lot more tedious than the previous method that I used.
So each step light would have been $10. Like on each step light on a locomotive would be $10.
Correct.
Brad, would you like to take over?
What would you like me to do?
So then now
anything at this point.
Yeah. So then now instead of each step light being $10, each step light is $15 because you have these fantastic step light housings that Scott refuses to charge you for, and you're sticking the $5 per step light housing in your own pocket. And Scott can't even afford a shirt with sleeves on it.
I would say that's slightly an accurate statement, but once a month I buy him at least a long sleeve shirt, so it kind of keeps everybody happy.
Sure. So Scott, are you just like stinking rich and you don't really care if you make any money or what?
I don't know. I had a head injury like 4 years ago, and
there you go. That explains
it. Ever since then, I just marched to the beat of a different drum. Now I like help. I like helping John out with, helping him stand out and do things. And yeah, I charge him a little bit. So it's, he's not getting them for free, but it's not everything in life can be about money and everything. So I just, sometimes it's just nice to help somebody out a little.
And why can't everything be about money? You've lost me there.
I don't know. For me, it just doesn't have to be.
Oh, okay. See, that's the problem. I've been self-employed my entire life.
I am too, but
I don't think so.
The government thinks so because they come every year looking for something.
And you say, "Well, I don't have anything because I give all my stuff away for free."
No, my accountant handles all that.
Oh, okay. You got an accountant? Wow, that's pretty good.
Well, you haven't seen me do numbers.
There you go. So this is cool. So you have step light housings. So how many step lights would be? How many steps lights would there be per locomotive? 4?
Yeah, typically 4. And then with the ground lights, that's 2 more to 6, and they all use the same housing.
Oh, and they all use the same housing. So you're making $30 a locomotive with these things.
That would be 60, 75.
Well, no, but you were charging $10. But if you do the option of the upcharge to the step light housing, you're making an extra $30 per locomotive.
That's correct. Yep.
I think I'm ready for that test now, Brad.
Okay, it's in Google. It's in Google Classroom.
I think I could ace it at this point.
Yeah, you got the pattern.
Yeah. All right. So what else is new at the old Garden State Railways besides the step light housing? So when somebody comes to you to buy, basically people come to you to have their locomotives, have decoders installed, have step lights installed, have other lights installed. And is that it? Is that basically everything that you do, or?
Yeah, that's really the meat and potatoes of what I do. But within the last 6 months or so, like Scott was saying earlier, I've been utilizing a lot more of his parts. So now I'm able to offer detailing services as well, such as the open door, see-through grills. If I want to open up Atlas windows, he has a part for that. And there's a lot of stuff I can do now with Scott's parts that really make these models stand out. So it's not just LEDs and DC and lighting, which is still my specialty. I've been branching out a little bit more into the more of the modeling side with adding all these details and such.
And go ahead. You have a question?
Yeah, John, these auxiliary lights that you put on, I'm just trying to understand kind of what you're doing. Are you saying that you can like solder these to like an ESU board? Do they have like auxiliary outputs to power these, to turn them on and off, or how exactly does that work? And I don't want you to divulge any of your industry secrets. So if you don't want to divulge that, I'm just kind of interested in how that would work. If you can share that.
Yeah, no, I absolutely can share at least a little insight to that. There's really no industry secrets here. Nick Santo of Nick's Trains, he makes an amazing product called the Decoder Buddy. And that is what I use for 99% of the installs, unless it's something small or if there's space limited, there's other ESU decoders that I can use to fit those applications. But using the Nick's Trains Decoder Buddy, it comes with 10 or 11 auxiliary outputs that you're able to program to either a ditch light, a gyro light, a beacon, a strobe, and stuff like that. So you're able to, plant these LEDs throughout the model and then be able to program them to their prototypical brightness and functionality. And that's really how I do it.
That's cool. So the Decoder Buddy then would be what you would wire to the ESU decoder. Is that correct, or do I have that wrong?
Yeah, so the Decoder Buddy is a motherboard, and the decoder actually plugs into that. So there's a 21-pin harness, and through those 21 pins, it goes to different pads on that PCB.
Gotcha.
And that's where I'm able to solder into and get rolling.
Okay, thank you. I've seen those. I didn't realize that that's what you use. That's pretty cool.
They are. Without the Decoder Buddy, I would not be able to do even 10% of what I'm doing now.
Okay.
Nick really makes an incredible product.
So, and he's the only one that really makes anything like that, isn't he?
Yeah, so he's the only one aftermarket that has all the different options. Yes, Athearn also has a factory board, but there's some other. They're not really great to do upfits on, like aftermarket. They're a little big and everything, but Nick's Decoder Buddy, it just fits in just about everything.
And does he charge you for them, or does he give those to you as well?
Yes, he charges me for those. He sure does. I'm one of his top customers now. Totally kidding.
I guess Nick went to a different school of business.
Yeah, Nick went to the school. I'd like to make money off of this.
Exactly. Yeah, well, he went to my school. Now, how do I make money off of this? Do you have a website, John?
You know what? The last time we talked, I said I was going to get right on it, and I still have not gotten the website up and going.
Okay, so somebody's listening to this, and they're going, and it's on the free channel, which means it's sponsored by Rapido Trains.
Your fast track to model railroading fun.
Rapido Trains, your fast track to model railroading fun.
And do you ever, John? Do you ever work on Rapido stuff?
I sure do. It's always been a breeze to work on. With models becoming more technologically advanced, there's a lot of things on Rapido's models that do make my life easier.
Did you see what I did there, Bruce?
Yeah.
Okay. So you don't have a website?
I do not.
So how do people are listening to this. You can find the Garden State Model Works LLC on Facebook by typing in Garden State Model Works LLC. And so then so how do you conduct business? Like, how do you say, hey, I used to install the step lights this way for $10, but if you want a step light housing, it's an extra $5. It's an upcharge. It's an option. Like, how do they know it's an option? How do they order stuff?
So people will message me on Facebook, and I also have an email, obviously, and I get plenty of back and forth between private messages on my account, my Facebook account, or in emails actually, and they'll ask for a quote. I provide a quote, and then at the end of the quote, I'll list all the options that I didn't include, and if they would like to go with that.
So they don't get the options until you've done the initial quote.
That's correct.
And why would that be?
It's just, you know what? Maybe I also had to come on this podcast to think about other business ideas here. It's just the way I've always done it. And that's just the way I've been doing it since. It sounds
like you're making extra work for yourself by giving them a quote. Then you give them the options. Then you got to give them another quote. Why not just give them the options and have at it right out of the box?
Yeah, that does sound like a really, really good idea. I could have that all on just one website.
There you go.
Garden State Modelworks LLC.com.
And
there you go.
LLC.com. And you know what? Because I went to the Scott Lupia Fine School of Business, you can have that idea.
See? Spreading the love.
Yeah, I'm not doing that because right now I'm still.
Now that you say it's less work for myself, I'm going to put the work in and do a website now.
Yeah, because it seems to me, if you put something up there, for the typical whatever locomotive, for this amount, you get this, and this. And then if you want to add this on, it will cost you this much more. And let me know how you want to proceed.
Yeah, that does sound like an amazing idea. I should definitely look into that.
Yeah, I don't think I'd put that under the heading of amazing, though. Would you? I think that's
it's common sense, but
yeah, it's common sense. I don't know if I'd go with amazing. You know what? It's amazing because it came from me. How about that?
There you go.
I'll give you that one.
Because we had a vote on a podcast not that long ago that Scott takes great joy in reminding me about, Brad takes great joy in reminding me about, where I said I'm an idiot, and Brad led a vote, and it was unanimous that I am in fact an idiot. Yeah.
Yeah. You were the one who cast the first vote, the first affirmative vote, I recall.
Yeah, but I already know that. But you were like, you couldn't, you were so fast in there going, yeah, I agree with that.
I always agree with you.
Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah, okay. So how many options are there? Like when somebody would write you, like how much has your business grown since the last time we talked to you, which was like a year ago? Was Uncle Dave with us then?
Yes, he was. It was Dave and Rich, actually.
Oh, Dave and Rich. Okay, I wonder why Rich was involved. Oh, well, he's always great to have on the show. So
he is. And you would think with those two guys, if running what they do for New Jersey Transit, they might have an idea of some business sense, but
yeah, apparently not. Well, at that point, Dave and John were just meeting at a car wash or something.
Oh, okay. Now that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So how much has your business grown since, like you said, are you trying to keep the business from growing? Are you trying to, okay, no, I'm not going to give you that example. That's a bad example. But are you trying to get the business to grow? Is it so big now that it's like you don't want really much more business? Like, where are you at?
No, so I'd say from the last time we spoke last year, I've probably grown about 50%. I typically have about a month and a half, 2 months worth of models at any given time. It's definitely plenty of work to do, and I'm not looking to curb the business from growing. But I definitely don't want to get it out of hand where I have some unhappy people at the other end. So I'm in that happy medium now where I have the loyal customers that have been with me since day one, actually, all the way to new people that have inquired today, actually. So I have plenty of work to do, and I don't need it to explode as much as another 50% more. I think I'd be, a little too deep there. But we're doing very well, and we're doing a lot more stuff than we were a year ago, 2 years ago. And the quality of the work is just getting better by the day, really.
And have your prices gone up? Like, how much does it cost to do a locomotive these days?
So a locomotive with just LED headlights is $250 out the door. That includes the Loc Sound decoder, the Nix Trains decoder buddy, a scale sound system speaker, and then the installation. So that's my labor, and all that's included. And then on top of that, it's $10 per auxiliary LED or $15 for the step light housings. There's a whole bunch of different factors that go into that. Like ditch lights, for example, if the model's already equipped with ditch lights and I have to replace it with LEDs, there's a different rate rather than me having to build the ditch light housing, paint match it to the model. There's a lot of different routes you can go down with these things.
And how often the model? Say you bought a scale trains, or let's forget that. Say you bought a Rapido trains.
You're a fast track to model railroading fun.
Rapido trains, your fast track to model railroading fun.
Locomotive that has just been released, like the GP9 RM.
Yeah.
How much work would already be done, and how much work could you do on it?
With the GP9 RM, I want to say they really did everything. Rapido is at the cutting edge of the lighting technology out there today. I can't say there's really too much I can do. I could add maybe a lit control stand or a keep alive or something like that. But that's really a case-by-case basis with the newer cutting-edge models like that.
Okay, so models that are coming out now pretty much come with everything you need.
Yeah, but Rapido really seems to be on the ball with that. I know Scale Trains, with their recent run of SD40-2s, they've now recently included ditch lights on certain models and walkway lights, which I also offer for models that are not equipped with it. But they're really starting to get up there. I don't know if the GP9 RMs actually have step lights or not, but if the customer would desire to have those, I can certainly put them in.
So are you eventually going to go out of business because all the locomotives come with this stuff?
I've thought about that. I've been questioned about that before. I don't see everybody doing it. I don't see Ather and Genesis going down that road. I don't see Scale Trains in the near future doing that, because you got to understand the tooling cost that would be associated with that, and then the quality control that goes behind it. It's very, very labor intensive to do that. I know Aurora did that with their SD60F. Rapido has announced they're doing that with their C30-7. They look beautiful. But the price goes up with that as well. So obviously that's in their court, and they can engineer whatever they can. But I don't see everybody going down that road. I do think that even in 5 to 7 years' time, there's still going to be the desire to add these auxiliary lighting features where the model isn't equipped from the factory.
And how long does it take you to somebody got a hold of you and decided to go ahead with a unit with all the bells and whistles, no pun intended? How long would it take the turnaround on that till they got the locomotive back in their hand?
It's about 6 to 8 weeks from delivery. It used to be a little bit shorter, but recently it's just gone up. 6 to 8 weeks is the usual comfortable estimate that I give people. It's just the way with supply chain and getting parts to my door has been pretty good recently, but I've had some issues with that. And that's just the volume of work as well. I mean, it's all about the date of delivery is really how I do this stuff and get everybody organized in a nice, calm, cool, and collected line.
So what kind of parts are you having trouble getting?
In the past, it's been the decoders. Recently, it's been pretty good. LEDs recently, I had shouldn't say a scare, but a little bit of a shortage probably a month or so ago. And I couldn't get LEDs for about 3 weeks. And I don't know if the container sunk to the bottom of the ocean coming from China, or something like that. But I just all my suppliers, everybody dried up all at the same time, so it was definitely a production issue overseas.
Right. Question.
So it's just
go ahead.
No, it's just some of those things that you got to take into consideration. And I do have a good rapport with my customers, and I have a very clear line of communication. I keep everybody updated about what's going on and when. And I'll even, write it up on a calendar, and I have a schedule for everybody of their projected date that their locomotive will be coming across my bench. And that keeps everybody pretty happy. So
that's like me. I have a schedule for when people need to get their T-shirts. When they're in the T-shirt Patreon level, I have a schedule for when they need to get their T-shirts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that's going?
I hope it's going good.
Well, I was actually talking to Brad or Bruce or Kelly.
Well, we know the Australian.
Yeah, they got theirs.
Unit, they're up and going happy in Australia now.
Yeah.
Have you? Has anybody?
The whole distribution center down under now.
Did anybody post on the fans page that they got their shirts?
I believe so.
I know there was a post out somebody looking for an address because whatever address you wrote on got erased during transit.
That was Nigel.
But the others have been put in. Yeah, Nigel. Yeah. The others have been put in the post, is my understanding. So we should be seeing a plethora of posts on the fans page soon.
Yeah, and I did send Nigel that address. I was kind of on the road for a couple of days. He doesn't. We still have to train Nigel on the basic day-to-day operations of the AML Nation, which is not efficiency. We try to avoid efficiency as much as possible. It's kind of like accuracy, but not quite the same, but the same basic idea.
Yeah.
What's Southern Tier Modelworks?
That's actually a fellow by the name of John Bazine. He's just a professional model maker. Makes some beautiful pieces. He is known for his skills from detailing a model to spec and being able to mix his own paints. He's a brilliant modeler, and he's actually been in business for close to 40 years.
Oh, I think he's a guy that Uncle Dave tells us is in Florida now.
Yes, he actually used to live not too far from me. He grew up in this area of the Rockland County, Bergen County, New Jersey area, and he's done plenty of models for me personally. And a lot of my customers, if they want a beautiful custom model done, they go to John, and then John sends them up my way, and I trick them out.
Can you give me a rough idea of where John lives in Florida without being exact?
Hang on, I got to pull up a map. He's on the Gulf Coast. So I want to say...
I should take my little portable recorder and go interview him.
There you go.
Sarasota County.
Okay, yeah, that's not that far away. I'm not sure what I should do. I should contact him and take my little portable recorder and go interview him.
I think you'd be pretty receptive to that. So you should definitely reach out to him. He's a incredible modeler, talented. He's just very, very well known in this area. I mean, almost worldwide at this point by his Facebook presence. But he's legendary around here. So
does Southern Tier Modelworks have a Facebook page?
Yes, he does. And it's just Southern Tier Modelworks.
Southern Tier Modelworks. You know what we're doing now, eh, Brad?
Elevator music.
There it is. Southern Tier Modelworks. Boom. Wow. 400, almost 5,000 followers. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. We should check that. We should check him out because I think Uncle Dave talked about him, and you did talk about him last time we interviewed you. But is there anything you want to talk about, Scott? Because we haven't heard from you for a few minutes.
Let's see. I'm just plugging away in the world of etched model railroad parts. Just always coming out with new parts. I've got some Rapido parts sitting on my desk right now for the E8, some grills. Like I said, just started getting into the 3D printing a little bit. So signals are coming, signal bridges, signal heads, that kind of fun stuff. And I don't know, I just kind of found a comfortable spot in the hobby where I have a lot of really great customers. Max Brisbane up in I think it's Massachusetts or Connecticut, up that way. He just did some incredible RS3s with some parts of mine. there's just I'm at the point where I'm seeing the fruits of what I create through the hands of some really talented modelers. So that's I'm just sort of on cruise control, watching people just go wild with this stuff. And I mean, it's the greatest thrill, greatest ride, watching people just blow models out of the water with the stuff that you make. So that's kind of where KV Models is right now.
How many parts and bits and pieces do you offer?
I probably have about 400 products at this point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's gotten up there. And mostly everything is in stock. I had some supply issues for a while as well, just like John. It's I don't know. I think there's there's a convention of people. They just get together and they just say, we're going to take this part that nobody's bought in 6 months and just buy it all. And then it takes me like 2 or 3 months to get it all back. But it's funny because it's I try to keep up on what's selling and what's not selling, and people just surprise me all the time. I don't know if it's, like I said, some convention somewhere or something, but it's kind of interesting trying to stay on top of all of it.
Yeah, like I'm looking at your in S scale. You got S scale steam tools.
Yes,
they look pretty cool. And what made somebody ask for those, or?
No, I got into SN3. PBL Models does the most beautiful brass SN3 steam locomotives, Denver Rio Grande stuff. And I ended up buying a couple of models, and I wanted the steam tools because nobody makes them, and obviously I can. So next thing you know, they're up on the website, and people enjoy stuff like that.
And remind me again, how do you print? Do you have somebody that does the brass? What do you call it? Etch brass?
Yeah, the etchings. I etch. My stuff is mainly stainless steel and phosphor bronze. I use a company over in Scotland. I looked at setting up my own manufacturing, but the chemicals and the learning curve for getting set up was so steep, and the chemicals are so nasty that it just didn't even make sense to try. These guys are great. They do excellent work. I've been with them for years now, and they definitely appreciate my business, and they're just great to work with.
Yeah, the etched market overseas is huge.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
it is, absolutely. There's all sorts of manufacturers offering etched brass kits and etched brass detail parts and things like that. It's amazing how many things that are available over the UK for that are etched.
And why are you only telling us about this now, Bruce?
Oh, because it's never come up before.
Well, yeah, but you could have brought it up.
I could have brought. I had some etch parts made for a 7mm scale locomotive that I had done over. I'm not sure they're Scotland. They're over UK somewhere that I got a price from. They did a very good job etching these parts for me.
So Scott, how did you find a company in Scotland? How did you manage that?
There aren't that many places that do etching on a small scale because, originally it started with I wanted to create a set of etch screens for the lifelike. At that point, it was the Proto 2000 SW9, and you're not going to find anybody that's going to do a small, just one sheet of something, but they'll do it. So I sent them the artwork, they did it, and one thing led to another. Next thing you know, I turned it into a business. So it's they're pretty well known in the hobby just because they do cater to hobbyists.
Okay. So hey, Brad.
Yes, Lionel.
They have N scale details.
I saw that. Yes,
yeah.
That is very cool.
EMD locomotive detail sets.
Yeah,
and they have general locomotive detail sets. Cab sunshades, MU hose clusters, cab windshield wipers.
One thing I actually I have to get up on the website. I started doing N-scale handrail sets. That's if anybody that's N-scale knows that the handrails are always oversized, and the etched sets of handrails, I've used them on several engines. They look amazing. When you photograph them, you really start to have a hard time telling if it's N or HO just because the things are now in proportion.
So which locomotives are you doing the handsets for?
Let's see. I've got them right here. Let's look. Generally, the big Alcos, C420s, both phases. Actually did C430s, C628s, C630s, B23-7s are coming since I need those. And I'm just going to do everything eventually.
Why do you have N scale?
Yeah. That's
I thought you were SN3.
I do have an SN3 as well.
What about those HO scale locomotives that you keep?
I have 2 layouts in the basement currently. And HO, and I'm going to be building a little something in SN3. So I do a couple of different things.
So,
Scott, do you? Oh, sorry, Lionel.
Yeah, I was going to say something, but you know what I was going to say?
What's that?
How many cab sunshades can we put you down for?
Who, me?
You're the N scale guy, yeah.
Yeah.
He's not talking to me. Let me see. If I recall, the conversation was Brad, and you said yes, sir. And then it continued on, and you acted all surprised.
Yeah, that was a clue. Brad.
That's my name, isn't it?
Yeah, and
I could use some of those for sure.
So how many sets can we put you down for?
About 4.
All right, they're $4.95 each. Watch this.
Okay.
Watch this, guys. Watch this. Hey, Scott, if we buy four sets of sunshades, what kind of price can we get on them? This will drive them nuts.
Oh, let's see. I'll do the rough math in my head. 4 times 100, that's 400. Free shipping, I'll give you that. It's about $400.
Beautiful.
I'm sorry. I thought you said you wanted 4 sets.
Yeah.
Yeah, and 4 sets. The cab sunshades are $4.95 each. How'd you get to $400?
His math is not a strong point.
Yeah, no wonder.
I told you I had a head injury 4 years ago, and that's why I let the website do all that stuff for me.
Okay. Well, I think it actually comes out to $19.80.
Okay.
But can we beat you down? Can we beat you down to $17.50?
You could try, but I'll just keep them because I like them.
Does it come with the leaves too?
Yeah. Does it come with the leaves?
No leaves for you.
What about MU hose clusters, Brad?
I think most of my locomotives have those on.
Okay. How many locomotives do you have?
More than I need.
I understand. I understand that. I saw a post today from our buddy Todd Treaster.
Yeah, I don't have as many as he does.
And it was like, I think he said he had 28,000 CSX locomotives. Let me see if I can find that. It was quite a few.
I think it might have been closer to 70, but he has a lot of them. Yes.
No, there was. He posted somewhere about how many CSX locomotives. Maybe it was on his own page.
It was on. I think that might have been on the Iron City page. Actually.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, very good. Excellent. Well done.
Thank you.
Did Todd get a welcoming letter?
No, sure those days are.
No, I think Todd joined back when Pat was still doing those.
Oh,
wow.
He's been a member of Iron City for I don't know, probably going on 2 years now. I think.
Oh well, la-di-da.
Wow.
Yeah, he said he had 70 plus CSX and CSX related locomotives.
70?
I just found 70 plus. Yeah,
that's it.
That's just CSX. That doesn't count all the other roads that he has.
Yeah, I see you put some skirting on your layout.
I did, yeah. My mom made it for me even.
Oh, so you got no choice.
Correct.
You do a lot of electrical stuff, Brad. That's what we should have done when we were doing the fireside chat. I didn't go to your Facebook page. Why didn't I go to your Facebook page? Because there's been a million questions I wanted to ask you about.
You were too pissed off about your neighbor.
Yeah. Mount Baldy, the human conehead.
Yeah. Yeah, we can talk about that another time if you'd like to.
So did you plant that tree for Lucy? I'm having a moment here with my family. Get off my property. If you see over there about 20 feet from where you are? Yeah, that's yours. Go over there. Leave me alone. Penthouse suite this guy's got. He got the whole top floor.
Yeah, he does. Yep. The whole
whole top floor.
Yep.
But he doesn't have any Rapido trains.
Your fast track to model railroading fun.
If it's N, if it's HO, the fast track is Rapido.
Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Or are we getting to the end of the excitement?
Let's see, John. I don't know. There's going to be some exciting stuff on the horizon, but nothing that we can really.
You can't tell us about it
for now, but
more stuff you're going to be giving away.
I think it's more stuff that we'll be keeping, for being real here.
Yeah, really.
Hey, Lionel, I just found something interesting on Scott's website. He's got a section called KV Models How-To Modeling Guide, which has pictures on it, the tools and painting and how to cut holes and all that stuff to put these details on.
I see KV Models, What's New, Shop, Model Gallery. Whereabouts is it?
It's in...
I think it's under shop.
Shop. Yeah. It's the last thing under shop.
Of course. Here's the how-to section under shop.
Yeah. Should be a separate section.
You'd think so. This is a trick. This whole thing is a trick. I know it is. You guys all got together ahead of time. Oh, yeah, what's this? What's the big silver thing?
Photo etch bender.
A photo etch bender.
Yeah, for making precise bends in long parts. It's really necessary for doing, like, if you want to bend ladders, that make the riser bend at a 90-degree angle from the rung. You can kind of clamp it in there and get a really good bend that way. Whereas if you try to, just nip it along, work your way up the chain with like a pair of pliers or something, you're going to get something pretty gnarly looking. So that's where that comes in handy.
Okay. Yeah,
I made that mistake.
Yeah. If you're doing any etch work at all, those are worth their weight in gold.
Absolutely.
The bender?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fold and hold are various names that they combine various sizes. They're all
the fold and hold. Yeah. we should be flogging the fold and hold. All right, I'm done. We got an hour and a half. We've been asked a lot of questions, done a lot of stuff. Don't you think, Brad?
Yeah, I think we did really good here. Yes.
Okay. What did you think, Kelly?
I thought it was really good. Very eye-opening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just saw all these parts he's got. I'm going like, wow.
So that's the only part that was eye-opening, the last 5 minutes?
Well, I'm just saying that part, and then just getting to meet them for the first time. And...
But Kelly's saying he woke up and saw this stuff and said, "Oh, look at this."
Kelly, you make this podcast a special place to be.
Oh, well, it is a special place, even if I wasn't here.
I don't know if it would be a special place without you. I don't know.
We have a very good crew, and we get some really special guests on here. So it's
absolutely. I was driving from Florida the other day, and I was listening to a podcast, and you were on it, and I was thinking to myself, I have no idea what he's talking about.
That's true. It's all that new equipment.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I got a story to tell you guys about driving from Florida that I cannot tell on the air. People can write in, and I will tell them. I can send it to them, but I cannot tell it on the air. That's it. We're done. Kelly, can you give out our email address?
Yes. If you want to reach us through the wonders of email, you can reach us at modellerslife@gmail.com. That's modeler like Modelworks.
Hang on.
But modeler with one L.
Stop.
I'm stopping.
All right. I have the 2 L's.
Well, okay.
Text me and tell me what your 2 L's are.
Oh, now you're going to make me work.
Well, we'll have a little conversation while you're texting me.
I know. I think I know what you're going to say.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm not going to say
So we
it.
got Modeler, 1L like in Modeler, like Model Works.
Right.
What are your two L's?
I'm not saying it'd be great if you said it.
No.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I'll say it. I'll say what my idea was.
All right.
LLC.
There you go. We were on the same page, buddy.
Oh, hey, we're brothers from
Another mother. Yeah, or the same mother. Or, we're brothers from
two mothers.
Yeah, there you go.
Brothers from mothers. Yeah, whatever.
We're brothers from another mother. That's it. Isn't it?
I don't know. I can't remember. We discussed that on your porch one day.
Oh, did we really?
Yes, we did.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That was after I did my walk one year.
Yep.
I don't think I can do it this year. I'm really screwed. Okay. So it's a modeler's life with 1L like Modelworks, not 2 L's like LLC.
Yeah.
Sweet. That's a good one.
Yeah, I tell you, we're on the same wavelength.
We are on the same wavelength. Ooh.
That's scary.
Yeah.
That's scary, isn't it?
Yeah, it is scary.
It's kind of like crossing the streams and ghost.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think John and Scott left?
No, I think they're still here. They're waiting to see what happens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, still here.
Okay. Yeah. And if you missed that email address, if you go to our website, amodelerslife.com, and scroll down a little bit, you'll see a picture of the moderately agitated male boy in a particularly agitated state. And you can just click on his picture, and boom, the email address is filled in for you. But it's a lot more fun if you listen to us. That's 1L like Modelworks, not 2 L's like LLC. I love it. And then if you, Scott, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Being a man that has shirts with no sleeves.
Yes.
Or shoulders, really, for that matter. Have you ever wanted a T-shirt with a hot dog on it?
I don't know. Does it have sleeves? I mean, I could rip them off.
Commonly, T-shirts do have sleeves, yeah. What you're wearing is a tank top. You're wearing Freddie, what was his name from Queens? Freddie
Mercury.
Yeah, you're wearing a Freddie Mercury shirt.
Oh, I thought this was like a slightly irregular T-shirt.
No, it's a tank top.
Wrong.
It's a tank top. It's a wife. It's a wife beater.
Or like he just came from the gym.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely didn't come from the gym.
Or Jim came from him.
Oh boy.
I was just looking. I was just scrolling down on your page and on your how-to page, which is really good. You got to put this somewhere separate so people can find it. You got it under shop. How would anybody? The only way anybody's going to, you know what? The only way anybody's ever going to find your how-to page is if they are a regular co-host on a podcast and they can't concentrate. And while you're doing the podcast, the host is doing the podcast and desperately looking for help. They're just scrolling around on the internet looking to see what's there, and they happen to stumble across your how-to page.
Funny story about the how-to page. I originally had it.
Time out.
Nope.
We have a rule here where we determine whether the stories are funny or not.
Okay.
So you go ahead and tell the story, and then afterwards, the four of us will decide whether or not it's funny.
Okay, story about the how-to page. I had it prominently featured and kept getting asked for a how-to page, and then I would have to tell them where it is. When I moved it to the shop section, that's when people started finding it, because apparently people only go to the shop section on a page for buying stuff.
That's interesting.
Bruce?
It's counterintuitive, but true story.
I would say it's intriguing, but not funny.
Yeah. Brad?
I agree with Bruce. Intriguing, but I didn't find it that funny. No.
Kelly?
I find it interesting and educational.
Maybe my delivery was off.
Yeah, I didn't find it funny. I did not find that funny at all. Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting side note. Intriguing is a good word to describe it. Funny? No. I don't know if we've ever had a funny story that got 0 votes.
This has got to be one of the first in the annals of AML history.
But
you were here,
make it
folks.
funny?
What's that?
Does this now become funny since it?
No,
no chance.
I was hoping for that little backdoor way in.
No,
it didn't work.
Yeah.
No, it's door is firmly shut on this one being funny.
Yeah, you guys are still back at Springfield barking at people as they go by because they're not buying your U23Bs or whatever.
That's the only unanimous vote we've ever had, except for the one about Lionel.
Which I seem to remember, Brad. You were very eager to vote yes on that one,
but not as eager as you, because you beat me to the punch on vote number one.
You're fishing now, buddy. You're floundering. Yeah. You're trying to turn. I know what you're doing. You're trying to turn the tables.
You saw what I was doing there.
Yeah, I saw what you're doing. Well, anyways, let's try again. Hey, Scott, have you ever wanted a T-shirt with a hot dog on it?
I've often thought about that, and that is something that is definitely missing from my life.
Okay, well, if you go to Midwest Model Railroad, and their URL is midwestmodelrr.com, and go across the menu bar to Other, and scroll and click on that, the drop-down menu, you'll see the AML shop. And if you click on that, boom, you're in a wonderland of AML merchandise. Hats, hoodies, T-shirts, mugs, whatever you could possibly need. And in there you'll find a T-shirt with a hot dog on it.
There it is.
Yeah. You found
Sold.
it? All right. Boom. And then what else do we got to talk about? Oh, yeah, our Patreon channel. So, John, did you enjoy this?
I certainly did. This was a really great time.
Well, if you enjoyed it and you'd like twice as much podcasting a week for just a few cents a day, you can go to our Patreon channel, which is kind of more of our it's I'd like to say it's highbrow, but it's more of our Central PA podcast. It's a lot more laid back. It's like being in Oval, Pennsylvania or Crater, Pennsylvania and sitting on the porch with Brad, knocking back a couple of wobbly pops and just kind of talking about life and not having to be too concerned about being politically correct. It's just a very relaxing time.
Don't have to worry about someone saying, "Hey, what are you drinking there?"
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Do you see anything there that says, "Hey, come on, hey Gary, come on over to my house"? Do you see me? Don't you see? I don't want you, Gary. Go away. Yeah. So how's the podcast going? Go away. Just go away.
Rent free in the penthouse level.
Exactly. So does your son keep his snowmobile in the garage all year? What difference does it make?
Bruce, if Lionel was a goalie for the Leafs and this dude was a forward for the Bruins, how many goals do you think Lionel would have let in by right now?
Yeah.
I'll be lying on the ice pounding his head against the upright.
The back of my neck would be sunburned from the goal.
Oh, yes.
So anyways, that's you can go to our Patreon channel, and for just a few cents a day, you can join our Patreon channel and get twice as much podcasting. However, John and Scott, you may be really interested in this. There's also a T-shirt level on the Patreon channel, and if you go to that for just a few more cents a day, every year you get a T-shirt that's exclusive only to Patreon members, and they're really nice shirts. But they're exclusive only to Patreon members. But the real beauty of it is you get to enter the contest that's sweeping the globe. Hey, dude, where's my shirt? Because the guy that's in charge of distributing the shirts is useless.
Here's an example of one, guys. Sorry, we don't have a better looking model for it tonight, but this is one of them that you get. All right, I'm shutting my camera off now.
Yeah, Brad, these are audio podcasts.
Yeah, really, Brad, you've been on this long enough to know that.
Yeah, come on.
Hey, Kelly, I saw your camera flash on a minute ago.
That was for Scott. And I was letting him know.
Scott.
I don't know. I'm just naming names now. I'm had it.
Put down how many beers have you had?
I've had an iced tea.
Are you watching hockey highlights?
Yeah.
Yeah, watching the Leafs. Seeing how many times the puck goes between his legs.
Let me say, what was I going to say? Hang on. Let me think. I can't remember what it was.
You were talking about the T-shirt level.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So anyways, you get to enter the, hey dude, where's my shirt? But I've been looking at this. I've been staring at this how-to page, and I scrolled down a little bit about how to cut out the mesh, and now I'm at the how to install front end parts. I mean, in between there's a locomotive, some sort of a switcher locomotive, looks like an SW 1500 or 1200 or something like that, and it's got all these etched brass mesh parts on it, and the fan and all that. It's beautiful. Yes. It's absolutely beautiful. Like, I see where the interest in having these etched brass parts are, or etched nickel, silver, or whatever they are. These etched parts, they're actually beautiful. Really makes the difference in the model.
That was the set that got me started in all of this right there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And how long ago was that?
10 years ago. At least 10 years, 15.
So did you buy this set off of somebody else, or this is what you decided you wanted to try to make?
No, I decided, I designed the set for myself because I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to get that radiator fan in the front with the shutters, and then the mesh, and then also the top screen with the radiator core inside. So I just designed it, shipped it off, and got the parts, and had a few left over, sold them, and off I went.
And how did you originally find this company in Scotland?
My friend Brian Busey, the Eastern Seaboard Models guy, he had used them in the past for projects on his own.
Oh, okay.
So that's it's like I said, they're pretty well known amongst the model railroad circles.
Right. Okay. And then it was only a decade later that you were giving away your stuff to Garden State Modelworks.
Yeah. So I've flourished. Obviously,
You do know that he's selling these step light frames for $5 a pop, right?
Yes.
He's seen you coming from a distance, buddy.
I'm happy to help him.
Well, stop helping him and start charging him. That's how they
start paying him in hot dog shirts here.
That's the way that's the way business works. You're the middleman. That's how you make your dough. Right there, and that's the sweet spot, being the middleman.
Nah, I'm just setting him up for some future labor. There is a no end to the amounts of favors I'm going to be asking from him in the near future.
That'll never work in a million years. You start setting people up for favors, and then when they don't come through, it's like you start getting mad. You will ruin your friendship. Charge them a buck. Sorry, John. Charge them a buck a unit. You got to charge him. Otherwise, the whole thing, your friendship will end up dying because you'll want a favor. He won't do it, or he'll think it's too much of a favor. And before you know it, you guys aren't speaking at the next convention, at the next RPM. Yeah, you don't know. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, legitimately, that's not the way John and I are. So
yeah, well, that's like, have you ever been married?
Yeah, for 10 years. To the same person.
Yeah. Trust me, that's the way it works. You'll find out. The beauty of, you know what, Bruce?
Yes.
Recently I had a milestone for age. And
yes.
I decided, you know what? I'm going to be one of those guys, those old guys that just says, I'm telling you, this is the way it is. Because after all these years, I've discovered that's the way it is.
Yeah. Years of experience have gone into that thought.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at that. Well, why is that? Because that's the way it is.
Yeah. And which goes along with, my dad was right all along.
Yeah.
Okay. What else do we got to talk about? We talked about our Patreon channel. We talked about the hot dogs. We talked about the mail boy. We talked about everything, have we not?
I believe everything has been ticked, and ticked off.
Okay. So now we're going to have a vote amongst the four of us. Kelly, Bruce, Brad, and myself. Who do we get to do the final tally?
Ooh.
Brad, why don't you jump on this one?
I vote for John.
Okay. Kelly?
It'd be interesting to see if both of them did it at the same time. See how in sync they are.
Yeah, that would be a disaster with these guys.
Yeah.
They'd be so busy trying to give each other stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's not
John.
They'd be going like, "You do it. No, you do it. No, you do it. No, you do it." And you'd be like, "Will you guys just get a room, for God's sakes?"
John.
Okay. Bruce, it sounds like you're got a very important vote here.
I was thinking it should give the honors to Scott because we've learned a little bit more about his company tonight than the other guy who's been here before.
I was thinking about that too. And my only problem is I actually invited John. Well, you know what? Oh, of course, so then we got a problem. We invited John, but he wanted Scott on when I was trying to help John with his business, but he insisted Scott had to come because I think there's something to do with the favors and blah, 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 blah. You know, Scott's giving him stuff and John's charging people $5 for it. Yeah, Scott or John, if Scott's giving it to you, why are you charging people? That doesn't seem right.
Well, he's got to make money somehow.
Well, he does. Well, yeah, but if Scott's giving it to him, why should he not give it to everybody else?
Because that's not how you make money. We had the discussion.
Well, I know. We tried to
explain flimsy business model, and he seems to grasp the fact that maybe he should be charging people.
Well, yeah, and we tried to have that with Scott, but he's one of these kumbaya guys where, oh, no, we're all going to be friends forever and ever.
But Scott has a website that you can go to see what he has.
Yeah, it's true, yeah. John has no website. And what he does is he makes people tell him what they want. Then he says, well, here's a sheet of options. Now tell me what you want. It's like, yeah, they got to fill out something twice. All right, John, you're up.
I guess I'm doing it, huh?
Yeah. So at a crucial moment, we need you to say happy rails to you. Now, the key is there's no interpretation. So there's no singing, there's no dancing, there's no interpretation of any kind. It's just you say with enthusiasm, happy rails to you. Can you do that?
I've been practicing for quite a while, and I think I'll be able to nail it this time.
Okay, let me just hear one of your happy rails to you, because you don't seem like an enthusiastic type.
Happy rails to you.
Oh, yeah, I guess I was right. Sorry, John, we're starting the other goalie tonight.
Yeah. Oh, this is great. This is gold.
So, Scott, at the crucial time, we need you to say happy rails to you. Can you do that?
Well, I could try.
All right. Well, Scott and John, as we close the barn doors on another episode of A Modeler's Life, and the sun slowly sets over the back 40, I guess there's nothing else left to do except for you to say,
happy rails to you.
Modeler's Life is sponsored by Because I Love Sushi, with 7 convenient locations in the greater Busted Knuckle area.
It's another Lincoln Homer.
A little bit of sing song there.
Yeah, that's right. There was a little bit of sing song there, but I never really explained it to him in full. He heard the explanation, but it wasn't directed towards him.
He's probably watching hockey videos and wasn't paying attention.